Hey, what is up guys? My name is Oleg, this is Bond. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to do a full review of this watch right here. This is a prototype of a watch called Merlin Sea Legends. It's a brand new watch, brand new company. They're going to be launching on Kickstarter on August 30th. They sent me this prototype for the review. I'm not keeping it. I do have to return it back to them. It's probably going to go to more watch reviewers in the future, so you probably will see more watch reviews of this watch. Now let's actually talk about this watch. Is it any good? Should you be looking at this Kickstarter campaign? Let's get started. Let's talk about case dimensions for the watch first. It has a 39mm diameter. It has 45.5mm from one lug to another, a 20mm lug width, and it's 13mm thick, including this boxed sapphire crystal. Here's what the watch looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it wears really well. I like that 39mm case diameter. It's also fairly short from one lug to another, 45.5mm, so it should suit smaller wrists as well as larger wrists. The weight of the watch is 127 grams, so it's not too heavy. If you're into hefty watches, keep that in mind. This one is on the lighter side. As I mentioned in the introduction of this video, this watch will be launching on Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter price, super early bird price, is $330 for the non-meteorite version. That's for the first, I think, like either 50 or 100 copies, and after that it goes to $350 for the non-meteorite version. So that's the price we're gonna judge this watch at. And there's also the second price, the meteorite dial version. Actually, for this review I have a meteorite dial version, and those prices are the super early bird, $430, and then the regular Kickstarter price is $450. This is of course a diver style watch with a stainless steel case. The finishing on the case is actually pretty good. We have a brushed finish on the top and polished finish on the sides. Also, there's a little bit of chamfering on these lugs. I really like the curvature of this case. It gives the case even smaller wrist presence than it has. 13mm is not too thick, but the way this case curves actually makes the watch appear a little bit thinner on the wrist. At the 3 o'clock position we have a screw down signed crown. Well, this is a prototype version, so it doesn't have a screw down crown, but the final production version will have a screw down crown, giving this watch 200 meters of water resistance. If you look at the case back here, it's a screw down see-through case back with the sapphire crystal for that see-through window displaying the movement. The movement powering this watch is a Sellita SW-200, 26 joules, 38 hours of power reserve, beats at 28,800 beats per hour, hacking, hand winding, really fantastic movement, especially for this price at $350. But if you look at the case back here, on the back it says that it's 300 meters of water resistance. So Merlin Watches actually informed me that they're changing that to 200 meters of water resistance, because to achieve 300 they would have to make the watch thicker, and they decided to go with the route of making the watch thinner and leaving it with 200 meters of water resistance, which I think is the perfect choice. On this channel I complained many times about watch companies trying to achieve that 500 meters water resistance, sometimes 1,000 meters of water resistance at the cost of watch's thickness. I'd rather have a thinner watch with 200 meters of water resistance than a watch at 14 millimeters that is 300 or 500 meters of water resistance, because let's be honest, 200 meters is more than enough for most people. Since this is a diver watch, it of course has a diver style bezel, 120 click unidirectional bezel with a lumed sapphire insert. Unfortunately, this is a prototype watch, so the bezel does not turn. I wish it did so I could show you the bezel action. Unfortunately it doesn't, but let's cross our fingers and hope for the best in terms of the bezel action. The watch has a fairly attractive dial. It's a layered dial, so the hour marks are kind of on this raised platform. They also are in the triangle shapes, so we have slightly larger triangles for the 12, 3, 6, and 9. And actually the Arabic numerals inside of those triangles are a bit of a negative for me. I don't usually like to criticize designs of watches, but if I were designing this watch, I would take out that 3, 6, 9, and 12. I think they are completely out of place. The lume on this diver is pretty good. It of course helps to have that lumed sapphire bezel. I do wish that the hour marks were lumed a little bit more. It's not bad, but I think it could be improved a little bit. Maybe it will be improved in the final production version. This, of course, is just a prototype. In the center of the dial, because this is a meteorite version, it of course has that piece of meteorite, simple writing, just Merlin Sea Legends by the 12 o'clock position, and automatic closer to the 6 o'clock position. And on the outer edges of the dial, there is this minute running track. I should mention that this watch is available in 5 different color combinations. I really like that blue with the meteorite dial. I think that version looks really cool, or that all black version without the meteorite. So those two are my favorites. I also really like this color combination here with this gray bezel. Kind of looks interesting. Don't see many gray bezels on watches these days. The watch comes on this beads of rice style stainless steel bracelet. The bracelet is very comfortable. I'm gonna put that out there right away. I really like these beads of rice bracelets, Jubilee bracelets. If you follow the channel for any time now, you know that I'm a big fan because they are really comfortable. They don't pull on hairs and they're just really light and breathable bracelets to wear. However, a few negatives with this one. So overall, the quality of the bracelet is okay. For the price to get it to, I guess, $350, some corners had to be cut. Number one, this clasp doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. It's kind of tinny. It is an engineered style clasp, so that's a positive. But overall design of it seems a bit too light, too tinny. I wish maybe it had a little bit more heft. The good thing is when you close the clasp, it kind of hides very nicely within the bracelet. But then that brings us to another sort of negative with this clasp. Because it's so small, it doesn't have any half links or diver extensions or even any micro adjustments. It would be nice to have micro adjustments on a watch like this. So overall, what is my opinion on this watch? Well, for the price, for $350, I think it's fantastic. That Sellita SW-200 movement alone, the profile of this watch, I think a lot of you guys will like it. Now, at the full retail price, at their suggested retail price, I don't know if they're gonna go ahead with that price or not, but at $750 or $850 for the meteorite version, I think that's too steep. I wouldn't pay that much for this watch. And now, I mentioned a lot of positives and I already mentioned some of the negatives, but there are a few negatives that I also noticed with the watch that I'd like to go over now. First one is not really a negative, it's more of a nitpick, but if you look at the crown, the logo on the crown is a star. All right, fair enough. But then if you look anywhere on the watch, nowhere else does this logo appear. So I'm not sure if that's their logo or is Merlin their logo. What's going on there? Kind of a disconnect between the signed crown and the rest of the watch. Another negative that I have with all Kickstarter watches that I review is the fact that you have to pre-order now, you have to pay the money in September, and you have to pretty much wait half a year until spring 2020 to receive your watch. In my opinion, that's a bit of a negative. And my last negative slash nitpick is the fact that the watch, or the movement to be exact, has a ghost position. So of course Sellita SW-200 has a date complication. However, there is no date cut out on the dial. So when you pull out the crown, the first pull is to change the date, but there is no date. So you have this kind of a ghost position, and then the second pull is to adjust the time. Most people will not even notice that, but this is a review, so I gotta mention it. Overall, the positives, in my opinion, outweigh the negatives. The kind of specs that you get for $350, the value for money proposition is fantastic. It's very hard to beat. I'm fairly impressed with Merlin watches. I'm excited to see what they do in the future, and I think they will have a fairly successful Kickstarter campaign with this watch. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Merlin watch. Are you picking one up? Are you letting this one go? Leave all those thoughts below. I always enjoy reading your comments. Of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it with anyone who would find it interesting or useful. And today on my wrist, I'm wearing a watch from a different microbrand company, from Melbourne Watch Company. I did a full review of this watch. That video can be found on the channel. I will also link it in the description below. Also in the description below, there's a secret link. Have a look if you're curious. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Stick is bigger than you.